Well, yesterday, the Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was rocked by the biggest scandal of American history. It's really going to be his undoing, and of course, as all great political scandals like Watergate and Tippecanoe and Tyler too, and Bill Clinton and the intern and the Russian collusion hoax, the origins of this scandal comes from the most stalwart, resolute, and hard-hitting investigative political journalism outlet there is. Yes, that's right, TMZ. And we will get to that story in just 60 seconds. But first, some important information from our sponsor, because we talk about big government programs a lot here. They get so complicated that they stop serving you, the people. And for Medicare enrollees, it's a textbook case. You turn 65, and instead of clarity, you get a stack of rules, deadlines, and plan options with real consequences if you guess wrong. And when the system is this confusing, it creates an opening for nefarious people to steer you toward plans that benefit them and not you. That's why I point people, including my own mother, to Chapter. Chapter does Medicare differently. Their advisors are salaried, so they're not paid to push one plan over another. In fact, they're the only ones that actually compares every plan available nationwide, not just a select few. There's no cost to speak with them, and they can usually walk you through your options in about 20 minutes. On average, people who talk to Chapter save around $1,100 a year. Listen, if you're turning 65 or if you're already on Medicare, call Chapter 580-308-0975. That's 580-308-0975. Honestly, aside from watching this show, I can't think of a better use of 20 minutes. Okay, now back to the video. TMZ. Yes, they took a break talking about the Ozempic effects on Oprah Winfrey's frame and the scandal behind all of the ladies left behind by Travis Kelce marrying Taylor Swift. And they found the political scandal of the decade. It's Lobster Gate, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Hegseth blew billions on shellfish, steak, fruit baskets, and furniture. And there it's got a graphic. I think that might be AI generated. I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure that Secretary Hegseth did not pose with a giant crab in one hand and a mango in the other hand. Could be. I think, though, that might be a mock-up. All right, so the scandal is that the expenditures for the Pentagon have come out and showed, yes, purchases for lobster and steak and a whole lot of other things. And for some bizarre reason, people read that and thought to themselves, wow, Pete Hegseth sure eats a lot of steak and lobster. I kid you not. People think that he is buying steak and lobster through the budget of the Pentagon for his own personal meals. Billions of dollars of steak and lobster. And they seriously, so our friends at the Washington Free Beacon have categorized all of these people who have done this. We've got Molly Zhang Fast. Some of the frivolous September purchases made under Secretary Pete Hegseth's stewardship includes $98,000 for a Steinway & Sons grand piano for the Air Force Chief of Staff's home. By the way, just so you know, that piano is actually not for the Air Force Chief of Staff's personal use. It's for the Air Force band. The Air Force has a band. Fine. $5.3 million for Apple devices such as a new iPad. Yes, because our military uses iPads. Astronomical amount on shellfish, including $2 million for Alaskan king crabs, $6.9 million worth of lobster tail. Lobster tail, apparently a favorite of Hegseth's Pentagon. The department spent more than $7.4 million total on the luxury item in March, May, June, and October. Gee, what was going on in March, May, June, and October? Do you remember? All right. Other pricey food purchases, government decided to drop. All right, so at least there, though, the reporting from Molly Zhang Fast doesn't think that Pete Hegseth himself is confusing it. Mehdi Hassan retweeted that and said, Mehdi Hassan, who literally roots for our enemy, he's paid by our enemy in the Middle East. Wants Doge to look into this. That's charming. And then Jamel Hill says, yeah, SNAP recipients are the real problem, but we're spending this kind of money on our military. Okay, fine. But then it gets weird. Gavin Newsom's office put together this graphic. Again, I think it's AI generated, showing Pete Hegseth in his recliner eating all of that steak and lobster with giant fruit baskets around him. Hegseth blowing $93 billion of taxpayer dollars in 1 month. Yeah, he's blowing it because spending it on our military is blowing it. Representative Jim McGovern decided to say that you don't get health care because Pete Hegseth is eating too much lobster. Jessica Sidman, food editor of Washingtonian Magazine, was incredulous over $7 million in lobster. Well, how many people are in the military, Jessica? It goes on and on. And on and on. Even Rand Paul, this kind of waste has to stop in an insult to taxpayers. All right, fine. That's not even the worst take. We'll show you the worst take in all of this with Paul Begala. But first, some sanity to the proceedings. Selena Zito, Washington Examiner. TMZ, followed by several news outlets, I use the term lightly, published a story with this in all caps. Pete Hegseth blew billions on fruit baskets lobster, accompanied by a photo of him. You're right. If you've never covered the military or served, or if you don't have any family or friends in the military, this would seem like a shocking story, but it's not. It's not even remotely. It's a common practice for our country to provide these special meals to our servicemen and women at least once a week. It has been for decades. I did my due diligence to prove my point to anyone who doubts my accuracy. In 2009, when Robert Gates was the Secretary of Defense during the Obama administration, I present you with a story from a reporter who was embedded with the soldiers in Afghanistan. Quote, the lobsters and crab legs are shipped from the United States and driven down on a refrigerated truck from Bagram. On seafood night, the crew serves up 400 of the tasty tails, 130 pounds of Alaskan king crabs, and 135 pounds of shrimp and scallops. And the story from 2024, when Lloyd Austin was Secretary of Defense under Joe Biden, and when Joe Biden was the president, the military spent $103.7 million on meat, fish, and poultry, including $16.6 million on ribeye steak and 147 orders of lobster tail for $6.1 million. And then orders of blueberry and ice cream and donuts for $400,000. It's the same story. This happens all the time. I remember meeting a badass special ops guy. He was in a unit that I think most people would call Delta, but they don't call it Delta. They call it CAG. Army dude. He did stuff that we never know about, okay? And you don't want to know about it. And he was telling me stories about when he was in an outpost in the Badlands of Afghanistan during the War on Terror. And they would get these airdrops of supplies in their location. And whenever they would get an airdrop of a box of lobster tails and steaks, they were all very excited because they knew they were going to eat lobster and steak, but they also sort of got that pit in their stomach. They got that feeling because whenever they got the lobsters and steaks, it means they were about to get orders that were going to be pretty hairy. And this goes back to, God, I heard this story in 2014, but it took place in like 2007, okay? Anyone who has any experience or any sort of exposure to the military knows this. It's normal. And it's righteous, by the way. The very least they deserve is a nice meal. But over on MS Now, when the story broke, well, because it came from TMZ, well, stop the freaking presses. This is the scam. This is Woodward and Bernstein. This is Watergate. This is the end of Pete Hegseth. We finally got him, guys.
But now we're dealing with global wars in multiple places, and anyone who thinks this can be contained. And meanwhile, the Secretary of Defense is off, trying to fire photographers for taking unflattering photos and spending $20,000 on lobster. I mean, this is not time on task.
All right, thank you, Newsbusters, for the clip. But there he is. This is the lie that he's eating the lobsters, that this is all for his own personal use. Let's go to Paul Begala now for the take of all takes on Lobster Gate.
That's not important. You know what's important? He has spent $15 million in 1 month for ribeye steak, $6.9 million for lobster tail, $225 million for furniture. He spent more in the month of September than most countries on earth spend in their defense.
Paul, do you believe
all
do you
for
believe
himself Lobster tails?
Do you believe
While our troops are eating MREs?
No.
Lobster tails?
Do you believe the Secretary of Defense is personally eating all the lobster?
Well, he
It's
can't
for
eat
the
60.
troops.
Oh, really? The troops are getting
And
lobster.
frequently in
Oh,
theater.
my God.
Troops who are going to war.
Oh,
get
my God.
Great meal. You know
Okay.
that.
They're
You
getting
know
lobster.
that.
You are so
You're gonna
full
get
of it.
killed over this.
You are
You're
so
gonna get killed
full of
over
it.
this. Internet, do something.
I'll end this by saying.
They get the gold mine. We get the shaft.
I'll end this by saying.
Paul Begala has worked in politics at the highest level of the federal government since 1992, when he and lizard demon face James Carville lied to the American people and sold them the bill of goods that is Bill and Hillary Clinton. And he's not just a political operative, by the way. He didn't just work on campaigns. He has no excuse here because he actually worked in the White House. He was an advisor to the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, in the first term of the Clinton presidency. And I know he traveled with the president to go visit the military and pretend like, they love the military. And he seems absolutely dumbfounded at the idea that our troops get to eat steak and lobster. And our only choice is, as is usually the case, he's a moron, or he's just a flat-out, completely deceptive, disingenuous, bald-faced liar. But excuse me, where's Caitlin Collins? Where's any grown-up at CNN jumping in and fact-checking Paul Begala? You heard Scott Jennings in there say, Internet, do your thing. And yes, sir, Scott, we're on it for you, my friend, because, well, it didn't take long.
Has steak and lobster. How's your steak and lobster?
All right, damn near decent.
How's yours?
I'm ready for war.
We're going to war. I might have to double it. I had to run it back.
I had to run it back, and you should run it back, young man. You go ahead. In fact, go for thirds. It's great to see them enjoying themselves, isn't it? It's great to see them actually getting a nice meal instead of MREs like they will usually get. I hope Paul Begala is haunted by the words of those, believe they were soldiers. Don't think they were Marines. I hope he's haunted by their words as they were licking their fingers and enjoying their steak and saying the lobster's not bad, because then they said, we're going to war. That's the dark gallows humor of the military. Oh, you're giving us lobster? Means we're going to war. Yes, that is what it means. It's exactly what it means. And Paul Begala should be ashamed of himself. It's despicable and absolutely disgusting for him to go on that platform. And CNN has been in the business of apologies lately. They should apologize for that. They won't, though. They won't. You know what? One more. This is my favorite. Look at her.
Ta-da! Steak, Capri salad, asparagus underneath, garlic bread that I already been into, lobster, hush puppies, a baked potato under this. Steak. That's pretty good. Capri salad. So good. Asparagus. Okay. Baked potato. Let's try a piece. Lobster. Oh, that's so good. Hush puppy. Garlic bread. This might be my favorite thing. Shrimp cocktail. Wow. They ate fruit salad. Mango, so good. Got watermelon. I don't know if you can see, there's an actual fruit salad. It's like nuts, blueberries, and like some kind of cream on it. Ooh, it's like cinnamony. Pecan pie. Oh my gosh. Not better than my mom's, but that's pretty good.
I hope you love seeing this as much as I do, knowing what these men and women are facing right now. And knowing what they're doing for us and for our allies and for free people everywhere and the people of Iran who are yearning for freedom. I hope that you appreciate and love that and enjoy that as much as I do. And yet at the same time, I hope that you are so spitting, offended, and disgusted by every single Democrat and every single member of the media who decided to take this opportunity to grandstand and say, Pete Hegseth is wasting our money and blowing our money, and screw you, TMZ. Screw you, Paul Begala. Absolutely disgusting. But, you know, this is who they are, and this is where we are. And I'm glad you're on the right side of issues like this. The only side that counts. Because the fact of the matter is, anyone who begrudges the Pentagon from treating our soldiers and our airmen and our Marines and our sailors the way that they deserve to be treated, well, they're not on our side. They just aren't.